Tanya, you're muted. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Financial Sense. Well, listen, my name is Anthony Murray, and I have two phenomenal hosts with me today. Uh, Florence, Florence Glover, Mad Flo. We call him Mad Flo, and Tanya Scott Pilcher, and we have a special guest. So, guys, you are in for a treat today. Let me tell you just a little bit about myself. I've been in the finance industry for a while. I actually graduated from college with a degree in insurance and real estate. Back then, that's what it's called. What it was called now, that same college, Johnson Wales University, just calls it a insurance degree. It was basically a whole bunch of business courses with a lot of math courses, and then they threw in some insurance courses, and I took a test and passed. And so today we really want to focus on something extremely important, but we're not going to tell you right now. I like for my co-hosts, Miss Mad Flo, as well as Tanya, to introduce themselves and to tell you a little bit about themselves. And of course, we're going to mute all of our phones, right? Because that's how it works. We're going to mute all those things.
We busy women. We
all right.
Remember to do everything. You know, mute your
we're going to do everything. Oh, you're going to try to multitask.
Not today. Look at you driving and talking. I hope you are.
I'm not driving. I'm writing.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. I'm Tanya Scott Pilcher, and I am the owner of Get Skills, where you can get your insurance license through Get Skills. We do pre-licensing and certifications for those of you that have your insurance license or want to get it. We're holding a class. The next one will be April 17th. I'm going to put that plug in. April 17th and 18th. That's on a Saturday, Sunday, and then the next following week on a Saturday and Sunday. So those of you that's thinking about it, we're going to be here for you. All right, and I'm going to turn it on over to Mad Flo. Flo, you back.
Yes, Mad Flo, y'all. I'm not crazy. So y'all see that sign? Don't think I'm crazy. Making a difference for life and others. That's what Mad Flo stands for. This is your girl. She's a former police officer, retired in 2007. I'm not going to let y'all know my age, but you're probably trying to figure it out. I'm married with an awesome husband, 3 children, 3 awesome daughters, and I'm up here in Massachusetts because we just got another addition to the family, another granddaughter I am so excited about. So I'm in Massachusetts right now, doing the grandma duties, as we call it, grandma duties. But like they said, we have an awesome show for you today, and we have 2 absolutely awesome guests today. Tanya and Anthony, I'm going to go ahead and, if y'all don't mind, I want to go ahead and just give us this great intro on Amira Muhammad right now. And I'm just going to read. This girl is phenomenal, 10 years old, and I'm just going to read her bio. So you guys listen.
Hold on, wait a minute. You said she's 10 years old?
10 years old. Can you believe
10
that?
years old. All right. All right.
But let me read this bio real quick. My light keeps going out. Amira Sabri Muhammad is a 10-year-old 7th and 9th grade Savannah, Georgia native who, since the age of 4, has been blessed to write nonfiction, fables, and fiction, with the latter being her favorite genre. At age 7, Amira authored and illustrated the first published story, Veronica and the Unexpected Days at School, a story of true friendship, which she autographed for me almost 2 years ago. And to my first granddaughter. Thank you, Amira. And published chapter book, The Wedding, which are available on Amazon. When asked reading, I love to read. I write books so others can enjoy reading as much as me. Amira's experiences also include being a guest reader at a Savannah nursing home and at Shirley's Kitty College of Savannah for preschool students.
Flo, you fading out.
For first graders. Additionally, this young author I keep going out. Additionally, Miss Muhammad was interviewed on 2 radio programs. Am I going in and out? Savannah State University of
Yes, you are.
WHCJ 90 FM. And if y'all have it, would you finish it off for me, Tanya? If y'all have her bio, because I keep going in and out. The internet is bad up. It's messed up.
Okay, so additionally, this young author has written and taught science, language arts, and math lessons. Miss Muhammad was interviewed on 2 radio programs, Savannah State University, WHCJ 90.3 FM, and on Mind and Money Matters, Blacks in Business of Education internet station. She has participated in multiple book signings, and currently her books are being sold on Amazon. She was also featured as a young author's showcase during the Entrepreneur Week online broadcast. So we're going to go ahead and introduce Miss Muhammad. We are so proud of you, because more than the other thing is that she's right here from Savannah, Georgia. So we want to give you the floor at this time and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. My name's Amira. I'm 10 years old and I love to read and write. And that is basically me.
Amira, I'm gonna tell you a little something why we invited you here today, because you know what? Our topic, basically is budgeting and being a business owner. And you are a very young entrepreneur business owner. And when Anthony and Tanya and I were talking, we were talking about what can we share with the audience out there. We've already done the credit, how good credit, bad credit, how it affects your business. And that's why we invited you here, because you're a prodigy for one thing. 10 years old, started when you was 4 years old, and you just keep moving. But you had to include somewhere in there. You have to include budgeting. You have to include your finances with your business. So we're going to be asked you simple questions, nothing really hard. But how were you able to, basically graduate from just being a pretty little girl that all of a sudden wanted to have a business mind and move a little further, but it all entwines around finances as well. So there's going to be other topics that we're going to be talking about. And just you're part of the conversation today, okay? So you're part of this conversation. So Tanya, anything you want to add to that? Or Anthony?
Well, I was just going to ask her, can you tell us a little bit more about your book that you have, Veronica and the Unexpected Days at School?
Yes, ma'am. This is the book right here. And it is about 2 best friends, Veronica and Leiva, and basically they get into a fight at school because Leiva saw her friend who she hasn't seen in a while, and Veronica got really jealous. So they had to go through a series of events so they could become best friends again.
Awesome. That is great. So where'd you get the idea to do a book like that?
In my school, we have the assignment to write a story every week. So it's just one of the stories that I wrote, and I drew pictures with it, and then everything just kind of fell into place after that.
Did you say you drew pictures? So you did the illustration too?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Wow. There are a lot of people out there that want to publish a book. Can you tell us how to go about that, and what did it take? And I don't know if you know, what did it cost in order to do something like that?
Well, you do have to find a good publisher, and we had a really helpful publisher. She was very sweet, and she helped us. And I remember designing the cover, like this blue part right here. I was choosing colors to go for it, and that was really, really fun. And yeah, we had to find a program that could design the covers, and it was really fun. But you do need to find a good publisher.
So, do you have any idea how to find a publisher?
Probably just research.
Mm-hmm. So was this publisher just for children's books?
No, ma'am. She's an author herself. Her name is Natalia Powell, and this is her book, Diamonds in My Own Backyard. This is her book.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So I know that there is something about when you get a book published, you really want people to purchase it. You either using Amazon or through you. I think that's really important some kind of way. What does that have to do with I guess I want to say uh, making money, I guess. I think I'm asking the question kind of crazy, but
How did
most
I
people
market
think it's real
my book?
important.
You asked me how did I market my book?
Yes, how do you market? That's good. That's a good question. How do you market your book?
I basically advertised it at events. I was actually in a play and I sold it there. And my city, we have something that the library does, and they have an event where authors come and sell their books. So everywhere I go, I'm always just advertising it.
Very good. Very good. So you not only have one book, you have two, right?
Yes, ma'am, I have two.
Okay. Tell us about your other book too.
And my second book has different characters than the first one, but it's also about two best friends. But one of the friends, her cousin is having a wedding, and the wedding cake gets stolen a week before. So they have to go through a process to find the wedding and figure out who stole it.
Awesome.
Now I'm gonna ask you a question, Tanya. I want to answer a question. When you decided that you wanted to do this, now it does take funds, it does take a capital in order to start a business. So you being so young, where did you get your capital or the funds? And who was your support? Who's your support team? So how did you start? How did you get to start this?
My mom and dad.
Okay, so you get a loan from your mom and dad, or they just did it work out like a business deal with you? Give you a loan? Did you actually do a loan with them, or did they just say, "Okay, we'll put the money up front," and basically, okay, that's what it is. So they put their trust in you that you knew what you was doing, 3 years old, and you knew what you wanted, and you knew that the dream that you have, it can come to fruition. That's awesome. So what we want you to realize, guys, out there is this: you have to have some capital in order to start a business. You have to have some sort of funds. Now, with that being said, we're talking about budget. How were you able to budget your funds? Were you able to pay yourself from your funds and also pay all of the other expenses? How did you make that happen? How did that happen?
Wait, can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, on budget, we're talking about budget. How did you budget what was going where? So you had to budget what was going to go to your, as far as getting the raw material to create the book. Did you have to pay anyone outside of the publishers to start it? And did you pay yourself once once your income started coming in? Did you pay yourself, set money aside for future books or anything like that?
Yes, ma'am. From my first book, from the money I made from there, I used it to help buy like supplies for my other book, and that's what I used. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Like
okay.
my first book.
So this
Wow.
has
Flo, let me ask a quick question.
Mhm.
Yeah, just one quick question. So, you used the money from your first book to pay for your second book. All right. Have you had a book signing yet?
Yes, I have. Yes,
All right. All right. And so you had a book signing for each book.
yes, sir.
You can have more than one. Have you participated in any book shows?
No, sir.
No. And the reason I ask, I'm a publisher as well, And for someone of your genius, I strongly, mom and dad, listen to me, get her in some book shows. They're all over the country, especially when she's not in school. Find a book show, get her in a book show.
Mm-hmm.
This sister has talent beyond talent. Um, Definitely want to encourage this. This is amazing. You know, you are a
Mm-hmm.
testament. You're a good example, and I really appreciate what you've done and what you're doing. I'm sorry to interrupt your flow, but
Oh
when
no,
I
no,
hear
no.
another author speaking, especially someone her age, man, oh man, you know what an amazing testament. You know, your mom and dad, um, they are doing a great job helping you with this. You're doing a great job writing. Just keep it up.
Mm-hmm. Tanya,
Back to you,
would you
Flo.
I wanted to ask Tanya. Tanya, would you explain to them about the cash flow planning? You know how this right here is interpreted in the cash flow planning
Well, I
in
wanted to
context.
say, Miss Muhammad, thank you so much. Stay with us. We're going to continue talking, and we'll probably ask you some more questions in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
But yes, our show today is in reference to businesses and the things that kind of stick us sometimes, you know. And so I am personally looking at you know, my personal business, and where we had the most problems in getting it started was capital. Having that money up front to really expand it and make it grow, or make it look like a retail or a store business. Now, of course, we have a training center, and when we first got started, we didn't have the money for an office. So um, having the finances that we needed in order to have a classroom setting just wasn't there for us. We knew that we wanted to do training. We knew that we wanted to offer this service. So what we started with was, well, if we can get enough people to be in the class, then we'll rent a hotel room. Okay. And so once you rent that hotel room, that hotel room probably, you really need about 15 people in the class in order to make it happen. So eventually, you know, we were just looking at, I won't say eventually yet, but, and just looking at what we needed in order to make our business substantial in the community, is that we actually needed an office. And first, we needed some money. So it was real important that we figure out how we were going to pay our expenses, and that it was really important that we figure out how to budget. So it boiled right back down to, are you budgeting properly? So how many people did it take in order for us to be able to profit for having a class at a hotel, and then make any money, be able to pay your instructors that were there also? So that is one of the main issues that most businesses, when they have, or when they get started, is that they have no capital. They have no cash flow. Have you all run into that also?
Well, yes, of course. And I can tell you right now, I love multi-level management, basically because it has a low overhead for me. So I didn't have to worry about, with the business I'm in, I didn't have to worry about getting an office. And then if I did get an office, it was not a very big expense for me. So it's just when a group gets together and open up a business, and like you said, you take it and you spread the expenses amongst the group. So with me, with the type business I'm in, I love it because I didn't have to put too much money into to start it, but I reap the benefits of having more money as long as I follow the system. There's a system in place. As long as I follow that system, I know I'm going to make the money that I need to make. But the capital, I didn't have to put down too much with it because of the type business I'm doing, that I'm involved in. But it's all different types of businesses. Just like with Amira Muhammad, she's starting out on her own. So basically, with her, she had to make sure she had the capital. being a young child, she didn't have that, but she had people that believed in her and was able to do what? Take a, do something as far as make a risk. And sometimes we do have to take a risk on some things in order to make something happen. But that's me with the type business I'm in, the
Right.
low overhead, working from home, being able to meet new and different people all the time, introduce them to the business they want to join with me, they can, and boom, they can have the business as well.
And
So it's
probably your business that you've been in may even have been COVID proof, but
oh
just
yeah,
think about the businesses that are out here now. And a lot of our small African American businesses are struggling because they were not able to make it during COVID. Once the
right,
businesses had to close, not open, a lot of the restaurants, everyone had to stay home. Now, did they have the money or the savings or the budget or anything in order so that they could stay open? And then when things came back and everybody could move around a little bit, just think about our first 3 months of the year. So from March until March, April, May, June, then they started letting us, kind of move back into going out a little bit, but then you had to be at half capacity. So those businesses that did not have any cash flow at that time weren't able to stay in business, for a period of time. They were just totally out. Nothing could happen for them. And those businesses today are probably totally out of business.
Hey, if I could just add something real quick, um, the starting up of a business, you're so on target with one of the problems that we have in every community. Really, is not forecasting, not fact gathering. A lot of people fact gather. In other words, you're starting a business. There's other people, unless it is um, a brainstorm baby, meaning you're the first kind of that business. There's others that have started or attempted to start the same type of business. And you need to find out what what type of expenses were involved in initiating or starting that. That's critical. Forecast. Get a guesstimate. Sit down and talk with somebody. You started this business. How much did it cost? I know when I wrote my first book, um, I did not research. I shopped the the publishers, but I did not research like I should have.
Mm-hmm.
I did not research those publishers like I should have, and then I got a little anxious too. But I did get together with a good publisher, but man, they seem to be the most expensive out there. And publishers there's publishers out there that won't charge you an arm and a leg and still do the same thing, and now more and more publishers are coming out. All right, but starting a business is very critical. Now, last couple of weeks we spoke about credit.
Yes.
Credit. All right, now that
Yes.
you got your credit straightened out, you're getting your credit straightened out. Now what are you going to
Uh,
do with that extra money? All right.
yes.
So,
Uh, Anthony, you're kind of going out. So what I'm going to do is, Miss Muhammad, we want to thank you so much for coming on with us today. We're going to go ahead and let you go. And we wanted to let everyone know, please reach out and look for Miss Muhammad's book on Amazon, and give us the name of those real quick.
Okay, so my first book is Veronica and Unexpected Days at School, A Story of True Friendship. And the second one is The Wedding Cake Mystery.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. The wedding cake mystery. I have a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, so I'll make sure that she gets those really quick and have it a part of her collection and get you to sign them. So thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you so much.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye.
All right.
All right, I guess we lost Flo.
I'm here.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, she texted me and told me she was having internet.
It just went out.
All right.
I'm
So
in Massachusetts. I guess the snow's knocking it out.
Flo, I think we have another guest out here, so we want to go ahead and bring our guest in.
Okay, that's James B. Mitten.
How you doing?
Hey, I want to thank you, James, for coming on.
Thank you, Heather.
My internet keep going in and out, so we're gonna pray that it stays in for me right here, right now. But I want to do this quick intro on James B. Bennett. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Real quick. James Bennett is a real estate investor and entrepreneur right here in Savannah, Georgia, guys. We got some awesome people here in Savannah. He's a U.S. Army disabled veteran and a native of Jamaica who has called Savannah home for over 20 years. James' passion is real estate investing, health and fitness, and you can tell that by his body. Woo! He's also a firm believer community uplifting, and does so in several ways, including his annual JB Flip Savannah Summer Youth Entrepreneur Program, where the youth get a chance to learn trade skills. He also has an ongoing mentorship program called JP Flip Savannah Mentor Program, where he mentors people to gain financial freedom and build generational wealth. Thank you so much for joining us today, JB. And we have a few questions for you. If you have any questions for us, let us know. But give us a little bit more about you.
Okay. Well, the MITM in my personal Facebook it stands for Mogul in the Making. I need to change it now to Mogul because I started that when I was actually only worth maybe like $1 million then, but I think I've kind of surpassed what that name was. So that's what it stands for, Mogul in the Making. So yes, the bio is kind of like a brief introduction. I'm a real estate investor here and an entrepreneur from Jamaica originally. I've been here for 21 years now. Got here in Savannah through the military, U.S. Army, and finances, wealth building, the Black community, the poor, middle class is something that I really, really push forward because I was a broke kid in Jamaica living in a galvanized one room apartment with my mom and two siblings in the back of a doctor's office, running water outside, the bathroom outside, to where I'm now own a 3-story mansion in Tybee, which I'm not even living in, which I'm going to be renting out. And so it's I want people to actually see themselves through me. And I mentor and I teach kids, and I want people to understand that if I can do it, they can do it. It's not impossible. A lot of people really see other people out of town, like they'll see other African Americans that live out of town, and they want to be like them. I'm local, and I'm reachable. I'm here. You came to my office recently, and I really try to disseminate information to people in a way that they can understand, which is I'll break it down. Like I say, I'm just like everybody else. My money doesn't really change who a person is unless they want to be changed. It's pretty simple. We have so much in Savannah that we can actually have as African Americans and poor coming up, but the whole process needs to be changed mentally for us to actually grow to get to that stage. That's one reason why I started my mentorship and classes and seminars here, so people can start gravitating towards building wealth and not making the same mistakes that their fathers and grandparents made in the past. Acquiring property, acquiring assets is how we grow in the community. we need to be able to do stuff where others are doing, and start getting to their level. I'm basically what you call an infiltrator.
Yes.
I've gotten money from Asians, from Jewish people, whites, everybody, and I've used that when they didn't want to really invest in our communities, and I kind of showed them my business model, my plan, and they would come to areas where, like Westlake, where I've had Caucasians, bankers and agents refuse to actually show up at the property because they were so scared for their well-being, and and they only invested in the area because of me, because I was pretty strong in advocating for what I believed in. So with that being said, I took their money and I made the community better for us African Americans and for the poor and middle class. And now we're actually about 90% capacity, and people are actually, being able to afford, rents here, because I'm not renting to everyone that basically, as the market does, which is normally they charge you $100 a square foot for rents or more, and I'm doing maybe say $80 something or $70 something a square foot. So it really helps people. I know where my bottom line is at, and I accept stuff like Section 8 and veterans benefits. So my job here is not just to make money; it's to actually help a lot and try to help others around me try to grow, so long as they want to get involved.
Mm-hmm. So I heard you say you get your cash flow or your monies from other people, but then how do you keep that going, property after property after property? That sounds tough.
Yeah, well, I've developed what is called a system. So years ago when I started real estate, it's been 2006. I actually started real estate during one of the worst times in history, which is our recession. Wow. I started out doing pretty good, and then the recession hit 2007, 2008, and then I almost went bankrupt. So I try to tell everyone that I don't want people to see the flashy part of everything. I want them to see the nuts and bolts. So I explained to them, like, that was the first time ever in my entire life I had to actually pawn my title on a car. My only vehicle I pawned my title. It was one of the most devastating things I've ever done in my entire life, because I prided myself on paying my bills on time and always pay. So I was short on the mortgage payments for one property. One property literally could send your credit through the roof. Me, like the opposite way to the roof. So I actually decided, I got to be this mortgage payment. People were behind on their rents, and we had to play catch up. So that really showed me a lot. So I had to use my ingenuity to rent out the other properties that I had, where I started doing stuff like renting out rooms and to college kids or to people low income, and it kind of boosted our income for a couple of years until we actually staved off. We had to borrow money from private investors, where the interest rates were like 16%, with a 4 points up front. But if you know exactly what you're doing, and if you know exactly what you plan to profit from something, borrowing at 16% and 4 points, and if you're making 100% profit, you can't lose. So for me, money is all about numbers. Basically, I tell everyone and advocate for everyone to borrow. I know a lot of African Americans have been led to believe that being debt-free is the best thing. It's not. I tell you, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Everyone that tells you to be debt-free are people that actually are rich. Okay, already have their money. They have been through the system, and they also borrow money. And I guarantee, if you look at their portfolio, they owe money. Okay, every billionaire, they're rich by assets, not by having $1 billion in the bank. Their $1 billion is based on their own over, say, $1 billion worth of assets, and they owe about they hold basically $2 billion, and they owe $1 billion. So that's how it's equated to them becoming a billionaire. So they owe money. And what are we trying to do? We need to start teaching our people the right things financially, because what happens is they teach you one thing and they do another. So what I did was with the real estate is actually to borrow, invest, get the profits out, invest, borrow, and invest. So basically, it's a constant cycle of investing, borrowing to invest, because you need a down payment, as most people know, to get into real estate.
So you use other people's money. It's
yes.
what you learn.
Yeah, you have to. If you don't, then you can't grow. In terms of they teach us to save. You can work a 9 to 5 for a long period of time, and you'll never save $20,000 in your bank account.
Right.
A long time, but you can actually go to Navy Federal Credit Union, which I tell everybody to go, because they're giving black folks money all day long. I tell all my clients, go to Navy, go get a credit card, go get a line of credit. And they say, what's a line of credit? I said, well, a line of credit is actually something that you borrow, but you don't use it or pay interest on it until you don't pay interest on it until you actually use the money. And it's revolving. So you use it, put it back, use it, put it back, which is the greatest thing ever on like a credit card. So, and you can get, I've had clients that come to me and they pay $275 for consultation. And when they leave, they go to Navy and get a $30,000 line of credit. With that now you can use that $30,000 to make a down payment. So say for instance you got a $30,000 line of credit for a 6% interest rate. You're going to invest in a real estate purchase that you need about say $10,000 down payment. You pull that money out, you invest $10,000, then you have $20,000 to fix that property up. That's your $30,000 now. Now you pay this money monthly. Then you paying that's only basically about maybe say $150 or $200 or $300 a month. That's fine. And you have the mortgage for the property, for the bank covers the other rest of the money. So basically you're looking at about another $500. So you have an $800 mortgage payment. That's easy, right? You're rehabbing this property, you're fixing it up, you're going to sell this property to get a cash profit of $50,000. So you have used your $30,000 to make $50,000. So you got $80,000 back. You can pay back the $30,000. And now you have your seed money to do whatever you want to do after that. So that's $50,000 cash money in your hand. So these are the things I try to teach people to do.
Okay, but James, now let's look at this. You got a 24-year-old young person that has no credit, no anything, and you're just saying that you go into Navy Federal and they may do blah 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 to do this, that, and the other. Everybody's a little afraid of that. You're saying yes.
Yes, I'm telling you yes. That's exactly what you just said. The word fair. Fair. See what you just said? Everybody's afraid of it. Listen, I've invested down to my last dollar and I've got it back. Fair is something that what kills us, it drives us, it holds us back. Money is something that it should be fair. It should be embraced if it's understood. All right, so a 24-year-old has a job. Your job is your first part of the credit. If you have a job, you can get money. If you have no job, you can't borrow. So it starts with a job. How long you been in your job? The person asks you, how long you been in your job? You say, I've been on my job for 2 years. You can, if you have no credit cards or anything, they will give you $1,000 or a $3,000 credit card or a $10,000 or $5,000 line of credit. It's a start. Right there. So that the job is your beginning. If you have a job and then you file taxes, and this is the biggest thing. I've had a class on this last year, which is JB Flip Savannah, flipping your tax dollars. You can still find it on Facebook, and it's only $50 to join the class. I still have it up. But what I've taught people to do is this. I've had a young lady that works for me. Last year, she received about $7,500 in taxes, right? And I said to her, let me invest the money for you. By the time I got around to her investing the money, she took the money and spent it all on seafood and hair and nails and clothes and for the kids and whatever. Okay, 3 months later, during COVID-19, that money's gone. Right. Okay, so here comes JB buys a property on the west side of Savannah for $39,000. Okay. I used $4,500 as a down payment. Okay. Right. Then the bank funded me $15,000 to fix the property up. So only thing I used was $4,500. The rest of the money to get the property in repair took me 3 months at about a $500 a month payment. That's another $1,500 on top of that. I'm still not at $7,500 yet. Right. Okay. I turned around and refinanced that property, put a rent on the property, and took out about $75,000 out of that property.
Wow.
Paid off my $30-something, got my initial seed money back, which is the $4,500 plus $1,500. That's $6,000, and cashed out money on top of that. So do the math. So for $7,500, she could have owned a rental property, cash flowing about $300-$400 a month, plus collect $25,000 and get her $7,500 back.
Mm-hmm.
You have to talk to people like me that actually know exactly how to manipulate the system to make it work for us. What we're taught to do is work, and then we go open a restaurant. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a restaurant, but it was one of the worst businesses to open. Okay, I've opened a restaurant since September. I haven't made any money yet. I'm putting money in, and I like the fact that I opened it because I gave it to my wife, and we're doing it really for the community and build morale and build up the communities. It will start making money later. So the thing is, we need to start investing more in assets.
Okay.
Assets are things that actually put money in your pocket more so than taking money out. A lot of us are taught to open businesses, but a lot of businesses are actually liabilities. Because if you're not making money out of it, if the business doesn't own any assets, you don't make anything. With real estate, which I love, is one of the only things. I've bought property for $50,000, and within 6 years, it's worth $300,000. I can go ahead and tap into that equity every 5 to 6 or 7 years.
Gotcha.
Piggy bank. And people say, well, why don't you want to pay down your property? I said, for why? Why? That property is built, going to be there for generations to come. I need to live now, live later. If I paid off and I owe nothing on it, yes, I'm getting all the cash flow, but at the end of the day, I'm sitting on all this equity. If something happens to me and my family, then everybody's going to fight and squabble over it. You know, you get in a car accident, they sue you and take all your money. So no, I want to enjoy this money now. Yeah, so these are people try to teach. So I try to teach it from a different perspective. I want everyone that's watching to borrow. If you have a credit score from 650 all the way to 800, you can qualify to borrow. And if you can get 10,000 line of credit or 20,000 line of credit from one bank, you can do it from banks. That's $100,000. So all you do is, if you're gonna apply for credit, do it within 14 days, and all it comes up as one strike on your credit. There are tricks to this stuff.
Oh, so someone asked, explain why a restaurant business was the worst business.
Okay, all right. So restaurant business. So I own Cool Vibes Pizza and Wings, which Flo knows.
You know what? Say it again.
Cool Vibes Pizza and Wings. Cool.
Yeah.
Good food.
Good food. What we did was we took a restaurant downtown. One of my biggest things was everybody in the west side of Savannah eats a lot of fried food. Fried chicken, fried this, fried that, overly processed, all this stuff. So I thought, you know what? I went downtown to Green Fire. They had amazing wings that was oven baked. I'm like, wings on the oven. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I tasted it. It was delicious. I had pizza on an oven. I'm like, this is delicious. They had a vegetable pizza. I'm like, a vegetable pizza? What is that? Never had it before. It was amazing. So I went to the owner and said, listen, white guy, I'm like, I want you to come to the west side of Savannah and help me open a restaurant. And he's like, sure, let me go look at the building. Came over, looked at the space, which I own, and we decided to open a restaurant. So we got together, we opened. So I took a piece of downtown and brought it to the west side of Savannah. Everybody told me, you're crazy. I'm like, no, I'm not. So I want people. Now we have vegan menu, vegetable pizza. Now this is why a restaurant is not good, right? So with a restaurant, you have overheads, staffing. I've had a lot of staffing issues, and you would think that a lot of people want to work. They don't. A lot of people actually want to make money. It's a difference. They want to make $300-$400 a week, and they're comfortable, right? A lot of them still live with their moms and dad, and or they live on their own, or whatever the case. But to them, making $300-$400 is fine. To me, it's not. If you make the most amount of money you can, and you work, one thing we our young people are missing is what is called responsibility and responsible tenure in anything. For instance, you have a job You want to be in a job and have tenure. You go to school, you want to finish it. So let's complete a task. And once we do that, then we actually have that the responsibility to do more. So with restaurants, the money you make within the first, a restaurant would take 2 years. They say they give you that 2 years. Everybody says it's a make or break period. But the great thing about my restaurant is I own the entire building. So my restaurant hasn't paid me rent in 6 months, but it's fine because I own the building. I'm not going to evict my own self. So for everybody else that owns restaurants and have a $5,000 rent, a $10,000, it's hard because you have to make that rent first, and then you got to pay by the after. So it's a struggle. So a lot of people actually have businesses that they have their personal lives. They work a separate job and keep putting the money into that restaurant to keep it alive.
Now, so do you think that real estate is debt free? Or debt? Did it make it through COVID?
Yeah, real estate in Savannah is actually in terms of, all right. So in my area, real estate is kind of diverse. I flip houses, which is for quick cash profit, which is it takes you 3 months. You get in, fix it up, sell the property. The sales market is great. Make a lot of money there as long as you can find the workers. The rental market, if you have enough property the way I have property, we only had a few people that stopped paying rent. So it didn't really affect us as much. It did, but not the way it affected a lot of other people. So basically, on that side, it affected us because landlords did not get any money from COVID relief at all. And we're still not going to get any because they don't think real estate is a viable PPP loans. So right there is where the problems are. If you had, say, 10 properties and 10 not paying you rent, you're screwed. But if you have like maybe 184 units like the way I have, if 10 people stop paying you rent, it's not as bad because the percentage are much smaller.
Oh, okay. So my last question, because we got about 15 minutes or a little less than that left. So now one of the obvious things for finances is to increase your revenue. So in real estate, how do you get to really increase your revenue with what you're doing? Is it buy more property in order to increase it?
Well, there's two ways. I said 2 ways to answer that question. You have cash flow, passive income from the rental income, which is basically your mortgage payment, which a lot of people don't know. Every single landlord you have has a mortgage on their property. Everybody thinks the landlords just get $1,000 a month to put in their pocket and drive around all day. No, you have what is called a mortgage. You have what's called taxes. You have what's called insurance on the property. So landlords have to pay that, and that has to be paid regardless if it's COVID or no COVID or whatever. Right. So the difference between the mortgage payment and all the tax and insurance is your cash flow. So if your cash flow is $300 a month, the way to increase that is by going to do market rent. So if market rent goes up by $200, you can renew somebody's lease and charge them more money. That's one part of it. The other aspect of it is to actually, if you have a property that's a lot of equity in it, which is the difference between the market value and what you owe. So for instance, the property is worth you 150, you owe 70, you want to refinance that property and pull cash out of it, that can increase your revenue. If you pull a loan out of it, it's only a loan, it's cash money to you profit, but it's a loan based on the IRS and the tax codes. So you only pay interest on the loan and it's a tax write-off instead of selling the property.
Okay. You lost me. Slow down. Say that again now.
If you pull equity out your property, it's considered a loan based on taxes, but you're getting cash money in your pocket. But the IRS considers that a loan because you're paying interest on it, but the interest on that loan is a tax write-off.
Right. That loan is a tax write-off.
Yes.
I got you.
You don't pay taxes on loans.
No. So that's the main thing. So you want to keep on with real estate. So you use that money from that equity and you take a down payment, buy another property, and keep rinsing and repeat. I call it rinse and repeat. You do the same thing over and over, and that is the goal. So if you have a goal of 10 properties, you must know your goal and what you can manage. And I tell a lot of people, you don't have to be a landlord to be in real estate. You can simply call somebody like Sabrina Scott or my company, Bennett Management. I say, I want you to manage your property, and we manage your property for you. And all you do is sit back and collect the check. That is it.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Tell me about because I saw that you have an awesome, beautiful piece on Tybee Island, and I was like, you the man.
I saw that too.
You the man. So tell us about that, and then we're gonna go today.
Okay, all right, so a little bit about it, and let me say, I'm Anthony Murray. Inbox me when you get a chance about a book. I'm trying to write several books, and I really want people to hear my story, and I want people to see the whole shebang, not just the glimmer. I want to see from the nuts and bolts all the way up. So reach out to me.
Absolutely, I'll get your number, and I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, so the Tybee Island, the Tybee White Mansion came to fruition through 2 years ago when we had the whole debacle about the Orange Crush. Mm-hmm. I was home, I think on a Sunday, and I was reading the Savannah George Mike got arrested, and they busted up in the room, locked him up. The people that own the property, I guess the neighbors called the cops and them saying was having a noise ordinance issue and saying he was violating the rules of the property. But white people go to Tybee all the time and have parties inside the Airbnbs all day long. So they arrest this brother for having unsanctioned whatever, right? So I was upset. And another buddy of mine, Rico Gordon, was on Facebook talking about it, advocating about it. So I said to myself, listen, you can march all day long. You can cry all day long, injustice. You can ask for equality all day long. You're not going to get it. I said, I'm going to show you exactly how to get into Tybee. So I started looking for property in Tybee. So I'm looking for beach condos in Tybee. Put an offer in one. I almost bought one. They owed some money to the contractors. We couldn't get it, so they backed out. And here comes the great Sabria Scott. Found the property. She said, Mr. Bennett, would you like to, look at the property? I said, okay, sure. I looked at it. And I'm in the club one night, and it pops up on my radar again. I said, you know what? I want it. And I bought the property. I had like maybe $200,000 I put down on the property, and I got the property. And when I bought the property, and when all the white neighbors saw me down there, they called the cops about 3 times. Because and I've been discriminated on ever since I owned the property. They started a partial HOA because they didn't want me having an Airbnb in their neighborhood, and yet still they have Airbnbs all over Tybee.
All over.
Yeah, but the thing is, the good thing about God is this: before they did all that stuff, we got our license done, we got all our permits in, and we're gonna be able to offer this property. It's not a Tybee White Mansion; it's a 3-story white house, basically to offer to everyone in Savannah, whether you're black, white, poor, middle class. You're able to go to this property like you in Miami, or you go enjoy Tybee. And if anybody calls the cops on you, you call JB. I say you can use the property, and that's the bottom line. So no, you're not going to get kicked out.
It's beautiful too. What I've been able to catch on Facebook, it is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
We were planning to go to Cancun or something like that. Like, forget that. We can go to Tybee. Look at this white
Yes, it's beautiful. The kitchen is, and if you like to cook, we having this the whole setup is to actually go. A lot of people actually, when they go to Tybee, there's nothing that big for you to have all your family, and it's we want to have something where you can have all your family. Sleeps about 25 or 22, and you can have all your family there. There's a huge kitchen, huge grill area in the back. We're installing pool, hot tub. It's just something that you can go and relax. There's a waterway in the back. You can have your wedding pictures taken there. I even offer my luxury car for you to take your pictures with. It's just an amazing thing.
Well, thank you. You didn't list how much it's going to cost us, but
well, for Tybee, I know for a night is $1,600. I think that's what it is, $600 a night. And Amanda with Worley, I think property management, she does it. 912-659-1. I think 1711. That's her number.
How many rooms? How many bedrooms?
It's 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and it's just 3 stories of massive balconies everywhere. Beauty. It's absolutely. If you take a picture there, people think you're in Miami. That's right.
Okay. So we got 5 minutes left, girls and guys.
Yeah, we thank you so much for being with us today. We definitely will be talking about this again on next week. So we hope to be able to ask you to come back. But what we'd like for you to do also is tell us about your classes so that we can get that information out. We may not have time to put everything up today, but we definitely want to get some people that are interested in flipping properties and making money. I hear this all the time. even from, I said my 24-year-old son has been trying to get us to do it with him. We're like, no, we don't know. So you've now relaxed me a little bit, and I kind of understand. So yes, educate us.
So what I've done is, all right, I have the JB Flip Savannah mobile mentorship program, right? That right now is going on. I'm gonna be real quick. So what I've done was I took a young man, Lionel Brown, recently. He came, did a consultation. He said he was ready. He paid. I have two programs. One is $2,500, one for $5,000. Paid the full program. The $5,000, which is I'll help you buy a property. I will walk you through the entire process of getting it fixed up and sold, or rented and refinanced, and put every single money that you've actually paid me and what you've invested back in your pocket, plus a profit and monthly cash flow. I guarantee it. Wow. So that's one thing. The second thing is the classes I have, which is called JB Flip Savannah, Flip Your Tax Dollars, is on Facebook now. I tell everyone, before you get your taxes back, everyone, I can't keep on stressing this. Come see me. If you got $10,000 back, I will show you exactly how to put your money in and get your money back out. So basically, you're not going to lose anything. It's not like you buy the stocks and you try to worry about it if you're going to get it back. I am guaranteeing that you will get your money back. Like I'm literally I do it every day. I am guaranteeing that if you invested in real estate, we're going to find your property. Savannah has a vast amount of property, vast amount. And we have a lot of out-of-towners calling every day. And we as African Americans are selling our property, selling our grandmother's property, and driving by abandoned buildings every day and not looking at the potential out there. I'm buying property on the west side of Savannah that nobody wants. And all of a sudden, now you took a property that was worth $14,000, and within 3 months, it's appraised for $105,000. And everybody's like, you got to do it.
I see it.
Hey, listen, guys. I hate to interrupt you. It's 1:57. Our time is just about gone. Let me mention this.
Well, we thank you so much for coming today. Everyone, we'll be back next Friday on All Things Relevant Media. So you'll be with Tanya, Flo, and Anthony. And we thank you so much for coming out. Have a good one.
Thank you, Julius.
Thank you, James.
All right. And the self-made millionaire, rags to riches story, James Bennett. Thank you for showing us.
You're welcome.
Listen, we're going to have this guy come back. He's going to have to come back. He's going to have to come back.
And let's give a shout out to Amira Mohammed, 10-year-old author, doing great things.
Yes, I'm buying her book.
Yes, today. All right, you all have a good one. See you next Friday.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.